Hello. Okay, I'm back. Welcome to my lesson 2 for the Java tutorial video. Today I'm going to discuss about operators in Java. Uh, Operators are used to perform operations or variables or values. So, in the world of programming, most of our programs or functions or our codes are, if we don't have operators, actually we couldn't create any program. So it's impossible to have a program without using any operators. So the operators are very important. They're mostly composed of math and true or false. So today I'm going to discuss about for examples of like arithmetic operators and conditional operators. Okay, so for the first operator we have plus. We use the plus sign to represent addition. As seen in the example here, like I is equal to 3 plus 2, so it's equal to 5. And we have minus sign is used to represent subtraction. So 3 minus 2 is 1. And this star-shaped symbol is used to represent multiplication. So 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And the slash is to represent to division. So 3 divided by 2 is 1. And percentage is used to represent modular division. So I'm going to discuss this right now. So let me show you the examples through code. Okay, so first we have our plus sign, right, which represents addition. So let me comment out this. So let me first create an integer with the value of 3 and create another integer with the value of 2. So if we print this by adding together, or let's just rather create another integer value which would add a plus b. And if we call c, let's make it more visualistic. So 3 plus 2 is equal to, and obviously we're gonna get 5. Okay, so uh, plus is also very widely used, so please take note that plus works as the one we usually know when we're like on elementary, the addition. So this is how the addition works also in the programming. So I'm going to discuss, since we're in the addition stage. So I'm also going to discuss about the plus plus operator. So the meaning of plus plus is it means to increment. So what do you mean by increment? Increment means that you're going to increase the value by one, or yeah, you're going to increase the value by one. So for example, we know that our c is equal to 3, right? Equals to 3, right? So if we do c plus plus and we call c, so no, let me try this first. So we're going to call c first here, and we're going to call, okay, so let's say plus uh, c plus plus is equal to, sorry, okay. So what's the expected value? We should receive 5 here, and we should receive 6 here. So let me show you. Let me run the program. Okay, so we could see that first we had a c, which had a value of 5, and once we did this c++ operator, so meaning it's to increment the value by 1. So when you print the c++, the value became 6, as you could see here. So why did this happen? What happened right now in the program is that the program read the C here, which is composed of 3 and 2. So the program added 3 and 2 first, which is 5. So the 5 was printed first. And then, since the program runs line by line, so of course this line 12 run first. And then after the line 12, we have line 14, which incremented C, which is C++. So, and we printed out in line 16 that C++ is equal to 6. So this is how C++ works. So okay, so let me jump into subtraction. So for subtraction, we use the minus sign symbol. Let me just convert this to a minus b. So what is our expected value here? Of course, we're going to get 1. So let me comment out this first. Okay, so let me try to run. Of course, 3 minus 2 is equal to 1, which is correct. So Same for the C++. For the increment, we also have a decrement value, which is the symbol we're going to use is C minus minus. So what would be the value of C here? Let us run. Okay, so we had a 1, which was called here on line 12, and we did the decrement, and then so it simply subtracted 1 minus 1, which is 0. So as you can see here, it's 0. Okay, so let's jump for multiplication. Multiplication, use the star symbol. So let me just change this to the multiplication symbol, and let me also change this. So of course we're going to it's expected to receive 6. So let me run. Okay, so we're going to receive 6. For multiplication and division, we don't have the increment and decrement value. We couldn't simply do like C star star. Yeah, it says yeah, it's a syntax error, so there's no such thing as like that. So only for the plus plus and minus minus only works for the incrementation and the decrementing values. So let's jump right into for the division. So which is using this slash symbol. Okay, we're using slash and it's for division. So let us run first before I further explain. Okay, so we received 3 divided by 2 is 1. So maybe some of you might be thinking that, oh, no, why is 3 divided by 2 is 1? Isn't it 1.5? As I've discussed in my first video, integer value only accepts whole numbers. So if we want to represent into this decimal value, we should simply change this to double, double, and double. And we're going to get the value what we want, which is 1.5. So please keep in mind that integer can only handle negative and positive whole numbers, while double will accept decimal numbers. So I hope you guys understand about that. So I hope you're clear with the for one of the most basic operators, which are addition, division, subtraction, and multiplication. So let us jump to modulo. So modulo might be not that familiar for people who aren't really doing a lot of programming, or who are really like new to programming or to the math. Also, how modular works is I remember on elementary we called it remainder. So remember, before we represent division on decimal values, we could also represent them as when we divide, we get their whole value plus the remainder. So that's how the modular works. So let me change the A to 10 and B to 3. So if I change this to modulo, so what is 10 divided by 3? As we know, it's 3, right? So we should get 3. But if we recall, what's the remainder of 10 divided by 3? We have 3, and we have the remainder of 1. So same goes for the modulo. That's how modular works. So if you run this, we would accept 1. This is how modulo works. So modulo is kind of complex, but if we need to get the remainder, that's where we use modulo. Like modulo is kind of hard to represent uh, for like a simple program like this. But on a much more complex program, modulo is also widely used to get their operate depending on what kind of program we are running. So please keep in mind that not only we could just do the addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication, we could also manipulate using modulo, getting the remainder. Okay, so moving on. The one we discussed a while ago was the most basic arithmetic operators. For now, we're going to discuss about the conditional operators. So, uh, as we know, equals. If you recall the basic math, equals means like for 3 plus 2, what's the equals of the equals mean? It's going to run the 3 plus 2, so which is 3 plus 2 equals 5. On programming, equals might can be represented as uh, they're not the one we normally know as like for 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. Programming doesn't work like this. Programming works as you could see in this integer a example, that it's an we use equal sign for assigning some value. Like for example, we want to assign a we want to assign a integer a to the value of 10, so that's where the equal sign used in programming. So please don't get confused that if you're using a, like for example, like a 3 plus 2 equals, there's no such thing as like that in programming. So please keep in mind that equal sign is used for assigning a value. So uh, on behalf we have this double equal sign. This one is the one that we usually know how equal works. So for the single equal, it only works as for assigning a value, but for the equals means it's the one we know equal. That's how it works. So for example, let me explain to you why is it conditional. Since okay, please let me. Oh, sorry. Wait, please wait. Okay, so what is expected when you get c equals a? So we simply know that c is equal to 1. But what is a? It's 10, right? So um, our equals sign will check that if those two are equal. So if they are equal, they're going to return true. If not, they're going to return false. Like for the it's similar with the boolean. So let me try to run this. Okay, as you can see, three. Actually, sorry. This is not correct. It should be like this. Okay, let me run it again. Cool. As you can see, 10 equals 1 is not, they're not equal, so it returned false. So which is true, since we know that 10 and 1 is not equal. So if we change this to, for example, let me just change the c variable to 10. So what do you think will return with them? So we know that c is 10 and c is equal to a. It would return true, since 10 and 10 is equal to true, which is c is 10 and a is 10. So this is that's why it's called conditional, since these values would return true or false. So let me try the exclamation. So it's used to represent if they are not equal. So for example, let me change this to not equals. So what do you think they will return? So it says that we know that 10 and 10 is equal, right? So they should return false, since 10 and 10 are equal. So they aren't not equal to each other. They are equal to each other. That's why they return false. So let me change this to like 7. So this becomes 7. So of course the expected output would be true, since 10 is not equal to 7, which you could see here, it's true. So we also of course I guess you guys are quite familiar with the greater than and less than. So it works the same with the programming. So for example, we have 10 and 7 here, right? So let me try. Okay, c is greater than 7. So do you think that's true? Yeah, it's true. So let us run if it's true. Oh, sorry. Actually, it's it's opposite, sorry. Yeah, okay. So we could see 7 is not greater than 10. So it returned false, which is correct. So let me try the vice versa. So is c less than 8? Is 7 less than 10? Yes. So it would return true. So these two are used to represent greater than and less than. So it's just the same as how we use in our math when we were in elementary or high school level. It just works the same in the programming also. So in programming, we also have greater than less than, but we can also have greater than or less than. So we could use them to compare for example, we want to compare. So greater than or equals are mostly used when we want to get, like, for example, we have numbers 1 to 10. For example, we have numbers 1 to 10. So we want to know if 1 is greater than or equal to 10. So let's assume that 1 is incrementing every time. Like, for example, after 1 is 1, then it becomes 2 and it becomes 3. So we want to know that if they are true or false until it reaches to 10. So I'm going to discuss about the for loop on the next lesson, but let me just show you first. So okay, so greater than or equal. So let me change the code as, let me say, let's say I'm here. So every time, so the meaning of this code will say that every time, uh, every time the operator sees that it's less than or equal, it will call I'm here. So of course we see that 1, this meaning 1 will run until 10. So it would run 1 to 10, which is because since it will run until 10 since we added the equal sign here. So let me run. So wait, so I think I just gonna make this much more visually better. So let me just, yeah, let me just run the I. So okay, so you could see where the greater than and equals used. So since we use 1 to, since we run this program, we're displaying 1 until 10. Why is it displaying until 10? Since we've added the equal sign here. So when we remove this equal sign, so it it would only run until 9 since 10 is not greater than 10. So let me run. Yeah, it's, so we could see it only runs 1 until 9. So this is where equals, greater than or equals or less than equal are used. It it only works when we're going to run a little more complex program compared to the examples I given. So moving back, so as we know how we could use greater than or less than, let me show to you the example of logical, which is ampersand and ampersand. So how are they used? Let me show an example. So let's say we have an int of 5 and we have int is equal to 10. So let's say if a is greater than b, no, let's make it and, so, okay, so let me show the example first. A is, let me add another example to make it much more clear. So let's make, okay, okay, so the meaning of this is that a is less than b. So this is true, right? As we could see, a is 5 and b is 10. So this is true. So what does this ampersand ampersand does? So this ampersand ampersand meaning, it means and. So and, as we know in the English grammar, it's really and. Like this one, condition here plus the condition here. So we're gonna do, if this returns true and if this also returns true, then this loop will work. If one of them return, if for example this is true and this is false, this will become false, so it won't run this code. So let me show for this one. Yeah, it returned true since a is less than b. Yeah, 5 is less than 10 and 5 is less than 15, which is, this is true and this is true. That's why it returned true. So let me change this to greater than. So what is the expected output? Of course it won't return anything since I don't have an else statement. So as you can see, this is not true since it read that this is true and this is false. So true and false, so they're not equal. So it will only become true if both are true or both are false. So they not print anything. Okay, so we also have another example of or, which is two stick lines. So the meaning of this is that if this is true, or if this is true, so if one of them is true, the loop will run. But if none of them is true, this won't run. So for example, we know that a greater than b is true, right? But a less than c is false since a is smaller than c. But this will still print true. As you could see that, because since only one of them was true, so the this stick or sign, meaning that if this is true, or if this is not, is this not true, so if one of them is true, it will run in this code. So that's the meaning of logical or. And for the logical not, this is just much easier to explain. As for example, let me change this to the, so basically we know that this will return true, right? But if we add exclamation point here, it won't print anything. So the meaning of that is this, we know that this is true, but this will make this opposite. So we know that this is true, so since this code is true, since there's an exclamation here, it will just return the opposite of that value. So this was true, so it will just return false. So let me just add an else statement, so it's much better to represent. This would return false since there's an exclamation point. But if I remove this would return true since there's no exclamation point. Okay, so I hope you guys understood a lot from the operators. These were the uh, most basic arithmetic and the conditional operators. So I hope to see you on my next lesson.